Hey, what's going on, Jam fam? So I got new glasses, but you can't tell because they're literally the exact same ones that I had before, but I got new lenses. But anyway, you know what else is new? Chuck. Chuck's sneak peeks just dropped, and just like with Pearl, we're going to check out Kairostimes Olympics. Like I said in the Pearl video, he's my favorite reviewer of brawlers. I think he does a really good breakdown of everything. So if you haven't checked out Kairostimes' video, make sure you go check that out. But we're going to jump into the Chuck review by Kairostime, check out his Olympics, see what Kairostime has to say, see how much damage he does, what his super is, what his star power is, all that fun stuff, so let's get into it. Do you guys think they use Mortis as a base for brawlers? Because he obviously looks a lot like Mortis, and another brawler that really reminds me of Mortis is Byron. So those two brawlers plus Mortis, they all kind of have like very similar vibes to them. Do you guys think they use Mortis as a base? Let me know down in the comments.
Chuck's main attack is Steam Engine. He releases some black steam from the top of his...
Alright, so he does 3 ticks of damage. Looks like it's going to do a little bit less or more depending on what position you are in. Right here he did 9, 9, 18, and so 2600. That's okay. It seems a little bit low with the new numbers nowadays. Let's see what Kairostime has to say about that though.
His hat that shoots out in 3 different clouds. Each cloud can only deal damage to each target once.
So he can do 3,000 damage at point blank, which is much better than what it was before. But it looks like at a distance he's going to fall off. So he's almost like a shotgunner, but instead of doing like a bit of a spray, it's you know, more in a stack. I'm sure there's another brawler like that does similar attack styles, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Chuck's super is Choo Choo, and there.
All right, so this is the most unique thing about Chuck. Obviously, is his super. He puts down these posts. He can dash from post to post. So I want to see how this works. I want to see how he ends up getting his super back so that he can actually activate the dash. So let's see what Kairostime has to say about that.
Is a lot to unpack here. Not only does Chuck start out with his super already charged, just like...
Oh, so he comes with a super auto charge. That's really nice.
Sam, it's always charging back up no matter what. And honestly...
And he's like Daryl, where he auto charges his super, so that's another nice feature. So you'll be able to get your super pretty consistently. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that would also affect his hypercharge when he ends up getting one. And that would be broken, because that means he's always going to be able to hypercharge eventually. He's going to have like a set number of hypercharges per game, right? That's crazy.
Whether or not Chuck is inside the range of the post actually determines how he will use his super.
Oh, wow. That's something to be really aware of. If you want to put another post down, you got to make sure you're away from here. So like he's showing here, you got to be all the way over here to be able to put down a new post. You got to be outside of the circle. Okay, that's interesting.
A post is inside the radius of another post. Chuck will instantly dash to that post after reaching the first one, very similar to how Fang's super works. Now, there are 2 situations where a post would not connect. Either they are too far away from each other, or if there is a wall between them, because he typically can't dash between
That answers
the
the question.
Keep in mind when he throws...
So, yeah, he didn't say anything about water. I'm going to assume he can't go over water, but, I mean, like, Daryl can roll over water, so maybe Chuck can roll over it too, but I wouldn't get my hopes up too much about that.
Throws a post down, it will deal a little bit of damage to anything that hits it, and it will knock them back as well. When he's dashing...
That's cool that the post actually does a little bit of damage. Obviously, it's not a ton, so like, you shouldn't be using it as an attack unless you like are going to finish off a kill or you want some knockback or something. But I think that's a decent use. That like it's a nice feature to have with it. It's not just putting it down. Kind of like Eve's super, where Eve doesn't do damage with her pod. It's only when the things spawn and then they can poison. So, I mean, I think that's cool. That's a nice feature.
Chuck's first gadget is rerouting. This gadget is the only other way for him to remove a post from the ground. It instantly removes the nearest post, not the earliest, and his super will instantly be recharged. Just keep... So he can eat a post. So basically he breaks a post and then he instantly gets a super back. I don't know how good that is because, like Kairos said, he auto-charges his super. He's going to get a lot of supers in game. You may not necessarily need that. I guess the utility of being able to move your post is nice, but you can also just replace another post. So maybe that's not that great. It seems okay because it's kind of like Sprout's super, or Sprout's one gadget, where he can pick up his walls back up. So it's obviously not the same, but it's very similar. Chuck's second gadget is Ghost Train. Normally, Chuck cannot travel through walls with his super, but this gadget changes that for 1 super. It only affects the next dash he uses, and all posts will behave as if there are no walls on the map.
This is all right. So this is decent, but I don't know. They're both kind of niche. Both gadgets are kind of niche. This one will work pretty well because, you know, being able to shoot and go through walls is a nice feature. A lot of brawlers do benefit from that. And I think this also pairs really nice with that new gear we got. So you'll be able to do it 4 times a match. And it could definitely work in a mode like Brawl Ball or something like that. So I could see this being a slightly better gadget than the other one, but the other one's definitely got its utilities as well, but I don't know if it's absolutely the best. It's not, neither one of these are really going to give you an advantage in combat or something like that. So I don't know if they're absolutely must-haves. Like, I don't think it's not game-breaking if you get one or the other, you know? I guess it's all up to preference.
Chuck's first star power is Pit Stop. Another thing I mentioned before is that normally he can only place down 3 posts at a time. This star power increases that number from 3 posts up to 4 posts. And as you'll see later in this video, it can add...
That's decent because it gives him a little bit more I can't talk. That's decent because it gives him a bit more mobility. So, you know, he'll be able to zip around the map a little bit more. Depending on what his other star power is, I don't think this one's a bad option to pick up. Let's see what his other one is, though.
Chuck's second star power is Tickets Please. While this star power is equipped, every brawler that he hits while dashing will lose 33% of their ammo bar, or in other words, 1 ammo, with the exception of, like, you know, Amber, who actually has like 20 ammo or something like that. Additionally...
So... you can either put down a 4th post or you can remove somebody's ammo, but it's only 1 shot. I feel like if this one gets a buff, I feel like this is the way better star power, but the 4th post is very nice. So
he will instantly recharge the same amount of ammo that is depleted from those brawlers. So it's pretty similar to Pam's Scrap Sucker.
Oh, I didn't see that part. So he also eats their ammo. So if you're out of shots, you hit somebody with your super, then you're going to be able to get a shot, one ammo back. I think that's decent. That's way better. It might not get a buff now, but I still think this might be a slightly better one. But I think both star powers are decent, so I guess it's up to preference. Do you want more mobility, or do you want utility in your star power?
Does not have a very fast unload speed, and his reload speed is so slow.
He's got
it takes him 20...
Okay, so he's got a really bad reload speed. That's... me, personally, I don't like brawlers that have really low reload speeds. So he has a slow unload and reload speed. That's not going to be great because if you spam a lot of shots, you're not going to have a good time with this brawler, basically, is what that's telling me.
That puts him in dead last, 72nd place out of 72 brawlers for reload speed. This is very likely because he's all about his super and not his attack. Up next, we have the area test, and
I guess that's a good point too, is that he's more about moving around the map, hitting people, running people over. He's going to be a bit chaotic if he's using like 10 supers a game or something like that. It can be a little bit chaotic. So, yeah, let's see. Let's just continue on.
Is the 1 second DPS test. Chuck interrupts his first ammo with his super, and then he's able to unload another full ammo all within the same second, which is pretty crazy, actually. He deals 7,876 in that one.
This seems like it's a pretty high skill and very situational thing to do, where you unload 1 shot, then use your ammo to cancel, and then do more. I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure people are going to take advantage of this, but I feel like people aren't really going to want to hang around your post that much because it's always a threat that you're going to run them over with Chuck. So I feel like this is kind of niche. It'll happen, but I don't think I think people are going to be aware of where your posts are, and they're not going to want to stand next to your post.
For the supercharge test, Chuck is able to charge his super in only 5 seconds if he just stands there and does absolutely nothing, which is way faster than Edgar or Daryl. But
wow, that is really quick. 5 seconds? That's really good. That's like some brawlers' reload speed. Well, not their reload, but you know what I mean. It's like some brawlers like reloading that much. Like he just gets a whole super in 5 seconds. That's nuts.
With the help of his main attack, he's able to charge his super in 1.7.
In less than 2 seconds, he can get a whole new super back. That's great. That's amazing, honestly.
Next is the 3 attack kill test. Now, the lowest amount of damage that I could record from one of Chuck's projectiles is 631 damage, but the max damage from one projectile is 1,080. So he's able to deal a total of 9,720 damage with 3 ammo. That is enough to take out 61 of the brawlers in the game with only 3 ammo, and he ties...
Wow, he can 3-tap a lot of brawlers. 9,000 damage, that's a huge chunk of the roster. A lot of people are going to get 3-tapped by him. And because he can jump into your face, there's almost nothing you can do a lot of the time. This brawler's going to be annoying, man. This brawler's going to be real annoying.
The swarm test. Now, I let Chuck place 4 posts in just the right spot.
Look at that,
so
man.
only one...
That is so satisfying to watch. I don't even care that it's not realistic because you're never going to get swarmed by enemies like this. But the fact that he just dashes in a square around everybody and kills everything, that's amazing.
super, he's able. So the really big question is, how strong is he actually?
All right, so yeah, I don't really watch his game modes part. I leave that to you guys to go watch because I can't steal all of Kairostimes content. So let's just talk about what I think right now. All right, so my initial thoughts on Chuck. I think that he's going to be amazing. I think he's going to be really strong. I think he's going to be the next OP brawler. Even without a hypercharge, I think he's going to be insane. First off, he does a lot of damage when he's up close. Second off, he's going to be able to put posts down everywhere and dash all over the map. So you're not going to be able to keep him off you, especially if you're like a squishy brawler that has no type of getaway. So if you're like a Nani or like a Byron or something like that, you're not going to be able to keep him off you. He's just going to jump right on you anytime you get anywhere near his posts. Now, I do wish his gadgets and star powers were a little bit better. They do feel a little lackluster, if I'm totally honest. The Ghost Train gadget, that seems pretty okay, but you know, you're going to have to be very careful with that because you don't want to get stuck behind a wall like Kairostimes said. But in a mode like Brawl Ball or something like Heist, when you want to get behind a wall, even though Heist doesn't really matter in the game anymore, you know, you want to get behind that wall, you want to get into a certain position, it's definitely going to benefit you in that situation for sure. But the first gadget, when the one where you destroy your post and get your super back right away, I think that one will be okay. I don't think it's going to be like a must run or anything like that. If you get it out of a box, you might be able to get some uses out of it here and there. That's just my prediction. I don't know if I'm 100% right on that, but I do feel like his gadgets are a little bit lackluster. The Ghost Train one, you will be able to use pretty much all the time, and the post-eating one, post-breaking one, whatever you want to call it, that one will be, you know, it'll have some niches. Some people will like it, some people won't. So, you know, there's that. And then as far as the star powers, I feel like both benefit his playstyle quite a bit. Even though I'm a little unimpressed by them, I do think they'll work very well for him. The first one that lets him put down the 4th post, I think that benefits him a lot. He'll be able to dash all over the map. It gives him a little more area of control, and it's something else you have to look out for when you play against him. So that definitely benefits him a lot. But I think that second star power, the one that when you hit people, you consume one of their ammo and add it to your ammo, I think that benefits his playstyle way more because you want to run people over with him, and he's got a slow reload speed, so you might as well use that and make sure you hit people and get their ammo off of them and onto you. That way you can do more damage. So overall, I think that's going to be the better one for most people, but like I said, I think the first one's perfectly fine. If you get that out of a box and it's like Showdown or something like that, you might want to run that 4th post. So yeah, in my W's and L's video, I said Chuck was a W. I thought he was a really unique brawler. He had a really nice super, and I was interested to see what he could do. And now after seeing this, I think he's going to be one of the best brawlers in the game. He's going to go nuts. I can't wait to get my hands on him. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to be coming out until sometime in October, so that kind of sucks. But let me know what you think about Chuck down in the comments. Do you think he's going to be insane? Do you think he's going to break the game? Let me know what your favorite part about him is, all that stuff. And again, shout out to Kairostimes for making such great content. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think he does the best breakdown of brawlers. That's why I react to them every update. So make sure you go check out his video if you haven't seen the whole thing. Like I said, I cut a bunch of it out here just so like you have to go watch his if you want the full story. And make sure you sub to him when you're over there. I'm sure you are because he's got 1 million subscribers, but if you're not, make sure you do that. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.